to the Beauty Basics. In this series, I'm gonna break down each step and I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can achieve this face. So stay tuned for the step of today. Alrighty, so since we're getting back to the beauty basics, we are going to go ahead and we're going to talk about our base. I think it's super important to understand your skin type and the products that you're using in order to create the perfect look. So if you have oily skin and you're trying to use a radiant foundation, you're not going to have a flawless outcome because the makeup products that you're using isn't ideal for the skin type that you have. So let's talk about it. So with your base, you always want to make sure you start off with a moisturizer. Doesn't matter if you have oily skin or dry skin, you need to hydrate and prep your skin. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Pharmacy Daily Greens to go ahead and moisturize my skin. I do have dry skin and it's usually more on the drier side. However, with quarantine going on, I haven't really been outside and I don't know if that means like my skin has changed, but it's more moisturized, and I think that's because I'm not outside enduring the different weather conditions. If you are into skincare and have an eye cream, I would absolutely recommend putting that on right now before you do anything else. I think adding an eye cream can definitely be helpful because if you're going to be adding powders and creams and all those other things on top of your eyes and your eyes are already not in the best state for that, it will make your makeup look ugly, sis. I'm not going to lie to you. So if you don't have an eye cream or if you think you might need an eye cream, definitely invest in one. However, I will be skipping that step today for the sake of this video. Now, you want to assess your skin because that will really help you understand what exactly your skin type is. So you can have dry skin, which means that you have, maybe patches of dryness in your skin, or without the moisturizer, your skin is just like thirsty AF. That will mean that you have a dry skin type. However, there's also the option to be a combination skin type where you might feel oily in some parts and dry in other areas, and that is totally normal. And typically what most people are is combination, which is not a bad thing at all. When it comes to makeup, a lot of products are typically geared towards combination skins, and it hasn't been since recently, in my opinion, that there have been more products targeting both sides of the spectrum versus a one-size-fits-all makeup. Or you might have oily skin, meaning that there are no dry areas and you are leaking oils. Literally after 10 minutes you look like you was just in the sun. If you have oily skin, you're obviously going to go towards more mattifying products that absorb the oils, or at least helps decrease the appearance of oils. So again, I have dry skin, so the products that I'm going to be talking about are going to be a little bit more towards the drier skin. Some of these products you can use if you have combo skin, but ideally these are not going to be the products for someone with oily skin. So I would not recommend maybe 70% of these items that I'm about to show you. So the next step for our base is going to be our primers. So I pulled out some of my favorite primers, and again, these are going to be more so for drier skins, but listen to some of the benefits that they have, because if your skin type is a little bit different than the standard oily skin or combo skin, you might be able to use these. Something that might not work for this oily person might work for your oily skin, or something that might work for this dry person might work for your oily skin. So I would pay attention to the different features that these products are promoting. My first primer that I absolutely love is this Touche Clot Blur Primer by Yves Saint Laurent, and this product is really nice because it has micro reflectives in it. So these little gold reflectives are ideal for someone who wants a more radiant and glowy type of look, aka somebody with drier skin, because this is going to catch the light, and this is going to catch the light underneath your foundation and just give off this radiant glow. So if you do have oily skin, your skin is already going to produce oils that are going to catch that light and give off that glow, so you probably wouldn't want this. However, again, if you do have combo skin, you can use this in your targeted areas where you are drier, and then you can go ahead and use like a mattifying primer for the other areas of your face if you want to do all that. It's not tacky, but it does give a nice blur feel, if that makes any sense. So the next one is the Pro Filter Hydrating Primer by Fenty Beauty, and this one was the first hydrating primer that I personally tried that I fell in love with, and this one is really moisturizing. I feel like this primer helps put a nice moisture barrier up on your skin. It definitely has a more hydrating feel to it, so I absolutely would not recommend this to anybody that has oily skin. Combo skin, again, in targeted areas, this might be a really good option for you, but for dry skin, this one is perfect. The third primer that I really like is the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas Primer. I personally feel like this is for dry skin / combo skin. It doesn't have any type of added radiance features to it or moisture features to it, in my opinion. However, it does give a really nice lotiony feel to the skin. I definitely feel like this helps with moving your foundation around easily if you do have dry skin. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the putty is a little bit more geared towards like oily skins, and this one is more for drier skins. But I could be wrong. I haven't tried the putty. However, I don't feel like a putty texture for my dry skin is going to do me any good. So this one kind of feels like a lotion. And lastly, Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. And this one actually is not necessarily geared towards dry or oily. This is definitely a universal primer. However, this one has vitamin C in it, which helps boost your radiance and the glow within your skin. This is not geared towards one skin type in particular. However, if you do want to add some skincare into your routine, this is absolutely what you would want. I would not say that this has any, additional benefits for a dry skin type. I think the vitamin C is the best thing that it's going to offer for a dry skin type. So this one might work for everybody. Today, I'm going to go with my Yves Saint Laurent Touche Eclat Blur Primer because this one is just amazing. It's my favorite primer ever. So this is what I'm going to be using for today. But before I actually apply my primer, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my setting spray. So setting spray can be whatever type of setting spray you would like. Ideally, you would want something that is going to match with your skin type. So this one here is the Fix Plus Magic Radiance with vitamin C added into it. And this one is actually for hydrating the skin. So this one would be more ideal for someone with dry skin or combo skin. If you have oily skin, I would definitely say to stick with a setting spray that is a little bit more mattified. I am going to spray my face with this. And the reason I'm putting that before I put my primer is because I just want to add just another layer of moisture to help move all the products once I do start laying them down. So I'm just gonna blend this into my skin and I'm gonna go ahead and add my primer on right now. And since we did our brows, you might have a little bit of concealer that's just kind of lingering on your forehead, but that's okay. Just rub it out and just kind of mix them together. Honestly, that's what I do. So when picking out your foundation, you still want to pick a product that is great for your skin type. So if you have oily skin, ideally you do not want a radiant foundation or want anything that has any type of glow to it. That's just going to accentuate the appearance of oils in your skin once you apply it. So if you have oily skin, matte is going to be your best friend. However, if you have dry skin, you want to go with something that has a little bit more of a radiant and hydrating aspect to it. Those are going to help with making your skin look more natural and less dry. If you have combo skin, you can absolutely go with something that has a natural finish to it or something that has a matte finish to it because you're in between. So it just depends on what your personal skin type is. Sometimes you might be more dry, sometimes you might be more oily, and you can adjust it based off of your needs. However, if you do the proper skincare and prep before you apply your foundations, a dry skin person can definitely get away with a matte foundation. You just really need to make sure your skin is prepped and hydrated. So that way nothing looks cracky and cakey and all just wrong. So for this video, I'm going to be using my Rare Beauty foundation and I'm in the shade 430W. And this is actually a very nice lightweight foundation. It's more natural than anything. So I think if you do have oily skin, you can absolutely use this. But if you have dry skin, sis, you're gonna love it. You are going to love it. But we need to talk tools. Depending on the severity of your dry skin, I think that using a brush is not going to be the best for a dry skin person. And I say this because a brush is going to be a little bit more abrasive on the skin. So when you're adding your product and you're moving it back and forth or you're doing circular motions, however you might apply it, but let's say you have a dry patch on your face. You going back and forth on that dry patch is actually going to aggravate it more and accentuate that dry patch on your skin. Versus if you used a beauty blender, you would actually just pounce on top of those areas and not disturb them, causing them to react in a negative way. Since we're using Rare Beauty today, this one is more on the liquidy side of foundations. So at this exact moment, I'm not having, the worst time with my dry skin. So I'm actually gonna use a brush for this foundation. And if you do use a brush, you can also use a foundation brush or a flat top brush. I personally really like the flat top brush. I feel like it covers a little bit more ground and it doesn't concentrate your foundation in one specific area. Whereas this brush, I feel like you would want to use this if you're going for a full coverage. I'm gonna start on one half of my face. I feel like doing so helps me kind of better move the product. I'm not working too fast. I won't mess up and leave harsh streaks on one side and try to rush to the other before it dries. So I would definitely say to go side by side, especially if you have dry skin, because you don't want to have the foundation sitting in one place for too long and then you have to do a whole respray just so that you can move it nicely across the skin. However, if you are using a thicker foundation and you want to use a brush, that is absolutely okay. But I would definitely say to use a beauty blender after, because with a thicker foundation, you'll be able to see more streaks if you do have any left over. And this is really going to just glaze everything into one and just get all of those lines out. Same thing. First, I just go ahead and work this out And then I'll go in circular motions on top to just continue to blend everything out. And you want to make sure to get the sides of your nose. Do not forget the sides of your nose. So we're going to take our beauty blender and we're just going to go over everything and just pounce this on top. Again, you can absolutely go ahead and do this all with your beauty blender. Your preference. Makeup is your preference. So whatever you feel like is best for you, do that. Alrighty guys, and we have just accomplished our base. So we now know how to figure out our skin type, we know how to prep our skin, and we know how to apply our foundation. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a few things. And if you haven't, please make sure to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I will link all of those down below so that way you can easily click and follow. And tomorrow we're gonna get into concealer and contour. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so that way you do not get left behind, because we are that much closer to finishing out this full makeup look. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on my next one. Peace.